Hey everyone, welcome back to a novel review book podcast, 3-minute snippets, big ideas in bite-sized chunks, and today part one of a two-part series about world building. What is world building? World building is where you construct a world, where you have control over the world you're writing in. Now, all stories need to feature some level of world building, but more often than not, it's going to be fantasy and sci-fi stories that feature world building because these are stories where the story is often not taking place in our own world of planet Earth. They're taking place in fantasy lands or in outer space. So you need to construct a world to understand what's actually going on. Today I'm going to be talking about hard world building and what that entails. Now, as I say hard world building, there is a name that probably crosses your mind, and that is none other than J.R.R. Tolkien. He's probably the most famous of the hard world builders because he hard built that world of Middle-earth. He knows everything about that world and everything that's going on. Hard world building is where there might be a drought a particular year in your world, and understanding how that drought affects grain supply shortages from the farmer all the way to the emperor 300 kilometers away. Hard world building is understanding how if the emperor puts a tax on the people, how that tax affects the local populace of a community 250 kilometers away. So it's this element of complete control over your world and understanding how everything goes on in your world, really playing God to the utmost degree. It can be a really great way to construct a story, and it's really important that you do exercise some level of hard world building because you do need to exercise that control on your story and the text itself. You do need to understand your characters to a degree and how they relate to other characters and how they relate to their surroundings. So there is a level of hard world building that is always going to be required, especially in sci-fi and fantasy stories. Naturally, of course, there are some issues with hard world building because if you spend all your time trying to structure this world and exercise control over this world to every little detail, it can actually quite stagnate your text and make it really difficult for your text to flow with a naturality to it. This is where soft world building comes in, but of course I won't speak about that today. Hard world building can be quite addicting if you are trying to construct a story, but don't be afraid to just start writing a story. Don't be afraid to, explore the naturality of the story itself, because especially if you're in draft mode, you can always go back and change things. So don't be afraid to not have your world completely fleshed out to every little detail if you are writing. Have a bit of fun with it, enjoy yourself. But that was hard world building. Tune in next week for soft world building and what that means. And as always, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe.